Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Double Reward. Inshallah, we have two wonderful surahs today, Surah Al Khafiroon and Surah Al Kawthar. What happened was, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the noblemen or the people with influence came to the Prophet ﷺ and they said, let's make a deal, let's make a compromise. Our religion has benefits and your religion has benefits, so what we'll do is we'll follow our religion for a year and then we'll follow your religion for a year. But the problem with that is that when you have a friend and you tell him, okay, I'm going to be your friend for 1 week and then the next week I'm not going to be your friend anymore. Is that a true friend? Is that true and complete devotion? No, it's not. And that's why Surah Al Khafiroon came down to explain that this wasn't right. This wasn't true sincerity. And the surah teaches us to have full and complete devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's listen to what he says. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. قل يا أيها الكافرون. Say, O you disbelievers, لا أعبد ما تعبدون. I worship not that which you worship. ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد. Nor will you worship that which I worship. ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم. Nor will you worship that which I worship. ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد. Nor will you worship that which I worship. لكم دينكم ولي دين. To you be your religion, and to me my religion. So you see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closes this verse? He tells the Prophet ﷺ and the believers, he tells them, say, to you be your religion, and to me my religion. Meaning that the Prophet and the believers will always be sincere to their religion, and they will not mix and try another religion or try devotion to some other deity beside Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now let's spend some time practicing this surah. We're going to repeat it, and please repeat after us. Are you guys ready?
Yes,
inshallah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
قل يا أيها الكافرون.
قل يا أيها الكافرون.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم.
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
لكم دينكم ولي دين.
لكم دينكم ولي دين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
قل يا أيها الكافرون.
قل يا أيها الكافرون.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد
لكم دينكم ولي دين
لكم دينكم ولي دين
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
قل يا أيها الكافرون
قل يا أيها الكافرون
لا أعبد ما تعبدون
لا أعبد ما تعبدون
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد
لكم دينكم ولي دين
لكم دينكم ولي دين
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Okay, let's practice that surah a little bit. Ahmed, can you read that surah for me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون.
No, pause here. What you did there wasn't really a mistake, technically a mistake. We're going to be following a certain practice in our reading, and then we always want to follow that practice. Okay? So we want to say, قل يا أيها. You see how I lengthened my voice? Okay, I want you to lengthen your voice there again. You said, قل يا أيها. I want you to say, قل يا أيها. Go ahead.
قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم.
No, one more time there. ولا أنا
عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين.
Okay, very good, mashallah. Inshallah, we want to move on to another very quick and beautiful surah. This is the smallest surah in the Quran. This surah is 3 verses long, but it has a lot of meaning. The Prophet ﷺ, when he lost his last son, he felt a lot of grief. He felt, of course, the grief that a father has when he loses his son. And so the disbelievers and the opponents of the Prophet ﷺ began to talk. And they began to say that just like Muhammad's line had been cut, so would his heritage, so would his religion. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought down this surah to console the Prophet. And just as his grief was great, so was Allah's consolation. He promised him in this surah to give him a river. So imagine what the Prophet ﷺ felt. His son had just died, but now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala consoled him and told him that we will give you a river in the hereafter, all for you. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't just console him. He gave him a direction for the future. So he asked him to focus on praying and on charity and on offering sacrifices. And that's a very important message, that in the middle of grief, in the middle of travails, it's always very important to do good works. That will bring you life. Allah also wanted to teach us and tell us that it's not the Prophet's line that will be cut. No, it will be the line of the disbelievers. They are the ones that will be cut off. Their ideology and their beliefs will be the ones not to continue. Let's see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did that. Let's look at this surah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. الكوثر. Verily, we have granted you a river in paradise. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. Therefore turn in prayer to your Lord and sacrifice to Him only. إِنَّ شَانِئَكَ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. For he who makes you angry, he will be cut off. Okay, now let's practice that together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
فصل لربك وانحر.
فصل لربك وانحر.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
فصل لربك وانحر.
فصل لربك وانحر.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
فصل لربك وانحر. إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Okay, inshallah, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back with Ahkam al-Tajweed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Waq.
Miwaq.
Okay, now did you hear the noon sound? I don't think so. Let's say those right after each other so you can really hear it. Repeat after me. Min waq.
Min waq.
Min waq.
Miwaq.
Okay, there you go. You see, that second time you didn't hear the noon. The noon wasn't completely articulated. But inshallah, in today's examples, that's not going to be the case. In today's examples, you're going to hear the noon very, very clear. Let's look at our first example. Now, it's very useful when we're studying tajweed to ask ourselves a question. Okay, how does this sound outside of the Quran? How would I pronounce this if I was reading it in a newspaper or in an Arabic book or anywhere? And then after that, we apply the rule of tajweed, and then we can feel and we can see the difference. Okay? So let's look at the example, man a'ta. Repeat after me. Man a'ta.
Man.
Okay, did you hear that noon? One more time. Man a'ta.
Man a'ta.
Very good. It was very clearly articulated. That's why it's called idhar. Now, let me ask you a question. What is the letter that's coming after the noon? Let's ask that question here too. Fairuz.
The alif.
The alif sound, exactly. And the hamza is one of the letters of idhar.
Yes, right.
Okay? Very good. Let's look at another example. The next example is an ha. Repeat after me. An ha.
عنها.
An ha.
عنها.
Very good. Ahmed, did you hear that noon very clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Now what's the letter that's after the noon? An ha.
Ha.
Is it ha or is it ha?
Ha.
Ha. And there's a difference, right? An ha. Very good. Excellent. Now, another example, really drive the point home, is an'amta.
أنعمت.
An'amta.
أنعمت.
Okay. Usama, can you hear that noon sakina?
Yes.
It was fully articulated, right?
Yes.
Okay, now what was the letter coming after the noon? An'amta. Why don't you say it out loud and maybe that'll help you find it.
أنعمت.
Okay, what sound is coming after the noon right away?
عين.
Ayn, exactly, that's right. And that's why we articulated it completely. We pronounced it fully because there was a ayn. And as we said, the ayn is one of the letters of idhar. So whenever you have a noon sakina, like an'amta, followed by ayn, you're going to pronounce the noon and articulate it completely.
Yes.
Okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. How about an example from Surah Al Kawthar? One har. Repeat after me. One har.
وانحر.
One har.
وانحر.
Okay, good. Can you hear that noon? The ha sound. And the ha is one of the letters of
إظهر.
idhar. Okay, very good. Excellent. Another example we have is min ghil. Repeat after me. Min ghil.
من غل.
Min ghil.
من غل.
Okay, excellent. Now, what's the letter coming after the noon? Fairuz?
في غين.
The ghain sound.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the ghain is one of the letters of
إظهار.
idhar. Okay. One more example, inshallah, for noon as-sakina. Liman khashiya. Repeat after me. Liman khashiya.
لمن خشي.
Liman khashiya.
لمن خشي.
Liman khashiya.
لمن خشي.
Okay. This was, you heard the noon sound fully articulated, and then after that there was the kha sound. Now, to really drive this point home and really make it clear, we're going to go back. Min waq. Now, remember, when we said min waq, in the Quran we don't say min waq. The noon is not fully articulated. It is pronounced min waq. Repeat after me. Min waq.
من واق.
Min waq.
من واق.
Okay, I have a nice question. Why, Firdaus, was the noon not articulated in min waq?
Because is it the gunna? Because of the gunna
No, is it, what letter was coming after the noon?
is waw.
Waw. Is waw one of the letters of idhar?
No.
Exactly. So if it's not one of the letters of idhar, then we're not going to articulate it completely. If it is idhar, which means to make clear, we're going to articulate and pronounce the noon very carefully.
Okay.
Okay? Very good. Let's do another example. Man ya'mal. Repeat after me. That's not the way it's pronounced in the Quran. In the Quran, it's man ya'mal. Repeat after me. Man ya'mal.
من يعمل.
Man ya'mal.
من يعمل.
Okay, so the question is now, why with man ya'mal was the noon not articulated? Osama, let's ask you that question.
Because ya is not one of the letters of Ithar.
That's right. Because after the noon, there's a ya. And the ya is not one of the letters of Idhar. Okay? Let's practice. Let's go over the letters of Idhar one more time, and let's try to think of what do these letters share in common. Okay? So listen with your ear and try to think about where the sound is coming from. Okay? Repeat after me. A.
A.
Ha.
Ha.
A.
A.
Ha.
Ha.
Gha. Okay. Now let's ask a question. Osama, can you tell me what did you feel those letters shared in common?
They all came from the back of the throat.
Exactly. Now, another hard question would be, but inshallah you can do it, where does the noon come from?
The noon comes from the front of the mouth.
Exactly. The noon comes from the front, whereas these letters come all the way from the back. And that's why there is idhar, because the letters are not close to each other. Whereas in min waq, the noon comes from the front, but guess what? So does the waw. Okay? So because they come close to each other, the sound gets mixed up. And you hear that humming sound that you hear. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, do we have any questions? Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Okay, that's enough for today. And inshallah, next time we're going to talk about tanween, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.